For athletes, a healthy diet full of wholesome fuel is essential to success. However, just because you're in training doesn't mean you have to sustain yourself on boring, bland food. Joining us today with the 5 essential vitamins athletes should be eating and the delicious dishes they can be found in is Yishane Lee, columnist with Runner's World magazine and author of the Athlete's Palate Cookbook. Yishane, great to see you. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks.
So it's nice to hear that athletes can still eat a healthy, well-balanced meal, good for training, but they don't have to sacrifice taste. Right?
No, I mean the whole point of food is to keep your body going, and you can't be healthy and active without getting vitamins and minerals.
Absolutely.
So the good news is that your body naturally craves what it wants, what it needs. So like carbs, protein, and fats. And the better you eat, the better your workout, and the better your workout, the more you want to eat healthily.
So as you were saying, diet is very important to an athlete's training regimen. It's a big part of it. What inspired you to go to some professional chefs to try to help create this cookbook?
Well, first of all, Athlete's Palate is a monthly column in Runner's World magazine, and we wanted to profile chefs who are runners, and there's actually a lot of chefs who are runners. And chefs who run know that the better you eat, the better your workout's going to be. They also know that eating a healthy diet doesn't necessarily mean eating bland, boring food or denying yourself. In fact, there's a whole chapter of desserts in the cookbook. So they're the perfect people to tell you that eating a healthy diet means you can also get your nutrients.
Absolutely. And let's talk about the 5 essential nutrients. Some of them are a little hard to pronounce. The first one, I believe, is pronounced anthocyanins.
Anthocyanins. It doesn't actually roll off the tongue.
No.
But it's the antioxidant that gives red and blue fruit and vegetables their color. So, for example, we have here red grapes, blueberries, and dark chocolate, because even cocoa and dark chocolate has anthocyanins. And what they're good for is they help reduce inflammation that comes from exercise and also muscle damage that comes from exercise. So it's great that you can find it in tasty foods like grapes and blueberries.
No one's going to argue with dark chocolate either, right? Now we've also got choline. Tell us about choline. What does that do?
Choline is found in egg yolks and pork and flaxseed, and it's an important nutrient that is grouped with the B vitamins. It's very important for liver and cellular function and the metabolism of fat, and it's also good for cardiovascular health. So these are all things that are important for athletes. In fact, a study has shown that higher choline levels in the body are actually linked to better performance and endurance in marathoners. So that's great. So you eat a good egg breakfast and you can get your choline.
Absolutely. So are all of these nutrients then essential on a daily basis for an athlete who's in training?
I think it's good to have it in your diet. You don't necessarily have to have it daily. If you eat a well-rounded diet and you get it weekly, that's probably good enough.
All right. And the third nutrient is something we've heard a lot about. We keep talking a lot about omega-3s.
Right. Omega-3 fatty acids are an essential fatty acid, which means your body definitely needs it. You can get it from fatty fish like salmon and sardines, and also some nuts like walnuts. We have edamame, which is a soy product, and soy milk. What it's good for is, for athletes, it really helps cardiovascular health. It keeps your arteries flexible, it helps reduce your blood pressure, and it also keeps your good cholesterol levels up and your bad cholesterol levels down. So these are all great things for athletes.
And for almost anybody, I'd imagine.
Right.
And then we finally have over here potassium in this group over here.
Right.
And we know, or a lot of people are aware, that bananas are
a great source. It's no surprise that bananas are often one thing that marathoners are given at the finish line, because it's a good way to replenish your potassium levels.
So is it good if you're an athlete in training to use the potassium as a replenisher?
Yes.
Rather than a sort of
I mean, you could do both. I mean, it's just good to have potassium in general. It's a very important mineral that's important for balancing fluid levels in your body. So it balances out salt and electrolyte levels, and those can get out of whack when you're exercising. So if you reach for bananas or basically any plant or animal food has potassium, as long as it's unprocessed. And
spinach has a lot.
Right. So unprocessed spinach, meaning in a salad, or bananas, fruits, citrus fruits are a good source. So are avocados, and milk is also a good source.
All right. This all sounds good. And then we have over here vitamin D, correct?
Right.
And that is not butter, that's a chunk of cheese over there.
It's a chunk of cheese. Right. Butter actually has some vitamin D as well. So vitamin D actually has been getting a lot of press lately. It's called the sun vitamin because you get it from the sun, and you get it from sun exposure without sunscreen, so just a minimal amount of sun exposure. It's very good for cardiovascular health, and it also helps reduce the risk of several major diseases like heart disease, cancer, and diabetes. So it's very important to keep those levels up. And you can find it from canned salmon and canned tuna, yogurt, dairy products. It's also fortified into breads and cereals.
So I guess bottom line is all of these nutrients, while essential for athletes, are really fantastic for everyone. Right?
And also they're good to eat.
Yishane Lee, thank you so much for all this great information. And again, the book is The Athlete's Palate Cookbook. Thanks so much for joining us today. We'll see you next time. Next time on Good Morning America Health.